Okay, so we're going to start blocking out the poses for the hammer. And I know if you watch the background, we hit play, you'll see that the pose is actually coming in too fast. But we time the animatic a little bit just to get a sense and feel of what we're trying to create. But we're actually going to do a lot more of the timing within 3D. So we just needed to match its poses and the overall idea. So we're going to go back to frame 0. We're just going to slide our character back. Actually, I believe we're going to start our pose at frame 11. So to do that, we're just going to go to our control objects. We're going to hit auto key. We're going to move them up front and start posing out the way we see this pose to work. So we can pull this back, pull the spine back so it's fully almost coming in for a landing. A little bit of stretch there. Okay. And in order to get the snap like I'm doing right here is come down into your default in and out tangents for new keys. So it looks like a step right now. It may look a little bit different, may look like that right now for you. Just click and hold on to it. We'll just change it to stepped animation. So what happens is there's no tweening between your keyframes. And if you do set a key and you do have sliding happening between them, like animation, just go up to Graph Editors, Curve Editor. And with your objects selected, select all of them, controls. Yours may look like this right now. Just come on, just select all the keys and just hit step tangents. Set the tangents to step, sorry. Click there, now we're stepping. We'll come back. Alright, so our next pose is on frame 15. So to get that pose, we're going to bring our root down, bend a little bit, take our spine, curve it in as if he's absorbing the jump. Get ready to lift off again. Now I know our pose wants us over here. Looks like almost the body should be over a little bit, but we're going to try and keep him planted a little bit so that we don't get any sliding in our animation. At this point, we should really lock our character. Perfect. So for our next key, we have him landing right about there. So let's make sure we're on right frame, frame 19. We're going to move our master object forward, grab our root joint, back, grab the spine or the neck, rotate it back, get more of a stretched landing look to this. And we'll pull the master forward just a little bit, try and match this up. Great. So right here, there'll be a pose in between where he's up in the air, because we have him taking off, or about to land, and then we have him taking off, and we almost have him, well then we have him landing again. We need him to have him in the air, but those will be our breakdown shots. Those aren't going to be our poses. So we'll come forward until we hit our next pose, grab our root, bring it forward so we get a nice squash in there, grab the neck piece, right? So our next pose is he's coming up to land on the ground here. So this one is not going to be, it's not going to come to this pose as steep as the last ones because he doesn't need as much momentum for the next part because he's just going to come in and settle. So we're just going to slide the master control over. We'll just stretch up here. We'll just bring his head back just a little bit. We don't need to come really into this shot, into this pose, sorry. Okay. Next pose is a little bit of a squash, and it looks like he's anting to turn towards the camera. So let's bring that in. this. And he's facing the camera at this point. So to do this, we're going to try and get him back up to normal. We'll close here. Let's head back up. Straighten him out. Okay, we're going to grab a master control. We're going to rotate this 90 degrees forward. Now we're starting to look getting a little bit of stretch on the character here, but it actually kind of works because if you were to rotate in real life, you would actually have to lift your foot and step around. But in this case, since he's not hopping himself around, he's just kind of twisting his waist. This will work great for us. So he comes in, stops, looks at the camera. Okay, this is where he starts noticing that one of the logos here is hanging out. So this is a AliMonroe.com logo, and it looks like one of the boxes is hanging out. And then the final video, what's going to happen is these are going to be really dull colors. When he comes in, he's going to smash this block into place, and as it comes into place, it was almost like it fixes the circuit, and they will flicker a little bit, and the glow will come on, and then he just looks at the camera. So at this point, he's starting to notice. So we'll rotate him back with his waist, and have him look up at the block, just like make it look like it's towering over him a little bit. Right, this pose is getting ready to jump up and fix that block for us. And the reason why the blocks aren't made yet is just because I wasn't sure how big his proportions were going to be. So once we get him hitting the poses, we'll build the blocks around what he's hit, and then we can go from there. This we're just going to be making templates. The logo is actually going to be built in a program called Adobe After Effects, and that's where we're going to take our renders and compile our final shot. So let's squash down, nice for romantic. So let's pose here. We're going to have them up in the air now, so we'll stretch them out a little bit, rotate them back, trying to get an arc. Grab our master control at this point. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just coming into our master control here, and I'm just putting in a key where he leaned down. Had I not done that, I'm going to go to tween this a little bit later. This guy would have he'll pop up and slide into there. So we just kind of put a key there to hold its position and then bring him up. Save a little bit of trouble later on. Okay, so our character's got a good jump into there. Kind of stretch his pose out just a little bit more, really to emphasize the fact that he's going to wail on that piece. Okay, now we have our contact pose. And this one we're just going to kind of do the exact opposite. Try and get the arc going the other way at this point. This pose a little bit, try to get a nice smooth arc going on here. I think we can push that just a tiny bit more. Alright, perfect. So once he hits it, he didn't complete his full swing. Like he completed his swing, but he didn't get the block where he wanted, and he wasn't expecting that to give him take so much strength. So he ended up coming back down to the ground,